Chairman. Today I rise to offer an amendment that will allow us to collect the facts and evaluate the impact of the 2014-2015 West Coast port slowdown and dispute. The efficient movement of goods is critical to the economic success of this country. Our farmers and manufacturers must be able to export their high-quality products to the customers around the world that they rely upon. Beginning in the summer of 2014, these customer relationships in our economy were threatened. This was a result of a prolonged contract negotiation between the Pacific Maritime Association and the International Longshore and Warehouse Union that ended February 2015. Just how serious was the impact of these prolonged negotiations? One example from my home state provides a clear illustration. Our apple growers in Washington State were faced with an estimated $100 million worth of apples that they could not sell. And other stories can be told about multiple types of produce and products, including hay and potato industry in Washington State. In fact, Mr. Chairman, I was in Malaysia and Singapore during part of the slowdown, and the complaint in those two countries was they couldn't get their potatoes, and especially they were upset they weren't getting their Washington State French fries, excuse me. So this did have an impact across the globe. So this wasn't just a United States economy impact. This was a global impact. In fact, the ships coming from those countries to the West Coast were slowed down to 8 knots, hoping that this would be resolved by the time the ships reached the West Coast. This amendment simply requires the Government Accountability Office to study the economic impact of this dispute, review the steps taken to reach an agreement, and suggest what other tools might be used to prevent future slowdowns. Like many of you, I've committed to my constituents that I will work to ensure that this is not repeated for the sake of our workers, farmers, and manufacturers. This amendment moves us in that direction. I thank my colleagues, Representative Schrader, Newhouse, Radwagen, and Kaufman for working with me on this important issue. I urge support of this amendment. At this time, I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman